return. They kicked 6 goals, 6-6 to 3 points. But at the end, the final game at Optus Oval is won by Melbourne, 15-20 to 13-14.
That was the last time they met, Melbourne and Carlton. And Cooter, well, what a milestone for him tonight. Carlton through and through, twice the best and fairest, twice an All-Australian best clubman, premiership player, and father of 2 to his wonderful wife, Susie. And he led the Blues out today. Melbourne winning 6 of the last 7 between these 2 clubs. This is just their second meeting at this venue, a place where Carlton played 8 times last year for just 2 wins. Carlton winning the toss with Koutafidis kicking to the right, the Coventry end of this ground, 20 degrees inside beneath the closed roof, and the crowd, well, slow to come in, it's fair to say, on a busy Sunday in Melbourne as we look ahead to what is going to be a mouth-watering start. Carlton, no doubt, will be eager to cast aside the disappointment of last year, just 4 wins and a draw, as we know, in Melbourne, looking to, well, erase the disappointment of that loss to Geelong. And Carroll and Favola already having a couple of choice words.
Spoke to Dennis Pagan through the week, Clinton, and he did confirm that you're going to see a different Carlton, particularly in defence. I think we'll see more players rolling back and blocking up some spaces. And let's hope that Aaron Davey fires, because he is one of the great talents of the game.
Fox Footy Sunday for 2006 is go, with White and French in the middle. And Cooter with an early touch, dumped though by Green, perhaps a sign of things to come, and the umpire's going to call for a bounce. Dean Margetts, Hayden Kennedy and Matthew Nichols, and Byron Pickett in a Melbourne jumper for the first time. And hey, what's new, he's in a wrestle.
Andrew Walker on Aaron Davey. Good luck to Andrew.
A couple of quick young lads there. Bit of an Alonso and Raikkonen battle perhaps, as Betts goes to Koutafidis down towards centre half forward. Oh, dragged off it, and he's going to win a free early on, Mark Murphy. Is it coming back at will? So Mark Murphy will get his first touch in a Carlton jumper, the #1 draft pick, who could have been a Lion but turned that option down under the father's son, and he's a Blue now.
And Jared, you spoke about Eddie Betts at the start of the game, a match winner. Looks like he's starting on the ball. Must have had a pretty good pre-season.
Well, I think they've got to find more numbers through there. And look, this is interesting because Brad Miller has pushed down from the forward line into the fence.
This is interesting as well. Scotland coming off under the blood rule was involved with only Pickett here. So did one land? Well, we're not saying anything. Now, Murphy's first touch is a hand pass to the running Nick Stevens, and that's a good delivery inside 50, almost not quite Fisher. Gets a second go. Melbourne back there in numbers. Whelan, Carroll, the ruckman wide under pressure out on the full.
Thought that was a bit stiff for the Blues there under the new interpretation. Anybody that gets touched in a marking duel has generally this weekend been paid the free.
Now, crowded forward 50 as you see that view. Walker's going to bomb it to the hot spot. Can DeLuca or someone else take a mark for Carlton? Not yet. Uze for Miller. And there's a whistle. Melbourne free. Is it going to be downfield? No, Paul Johnson is away. Gee, that's dangerous for the D's unless Neitz marks it. And he does.
Long way from goal.
Right now, Neitz looks up, and he's only got Aaron Davey to shoot from, and he's got to get over a wall of Carlton players.
They had all their numbers back, Jared, and David Neitz had to come up to basically pass centre wing to get his first possession. But a good sign on his bike, looks fit.
Thornton of Carlton has the job on Robertson as Green goes to Whelan. He'll then go to the wing where Carroll can mark here and set Melbourne up. Robertson on a lead. Carroll in his direction. Robertson doubles back. This is Travis Johnston. Boundary throwing Demons deep in attack.
It's been an interesting start. We saw Brendan Favola standing in the hole for Carlton as Melbourne come into the forward line. At the other end, just a couple of minutes ago, Miller was down there filling the hole. So it looks like it's going to be a game where there's a lot of flooding.
Whitnell in defence. Melbourne's first game of Bartram's at the bottom of this pack will get a bounce.
If you had to explain the game to somebody from overseas, it was always a difficult task. Right now, it's impossible because you'd have to tell this person why the centre-half forward, after explaining what that meant, played at centre-half back.
That's right. And if you watch the game the other night with the Bulldogs and Richmond, what a free-flowing, high-scoring game. This one doesn't look like it's going to reach those heights.
You're right. I think 10 goals to 8 might see us through, if this is any indication, as Thornton can clear now. Well, that's a dangerous kick. Carroll again for Melbourne.
I'm sure
Don't miss
it'll
with
open
him.
up. It will open up. The speed of the game can't continue on at the frenetic pace. And today in down in Launceston, we saw a very similar opening quarter. Then it really opened up.
Robertson after an early fumble. Walker and Davey, good matchup. Neats. Oh, that was
Nimble.
very much so. Davey not so. Kicks it out on the foot.
Good signs for David Neitz. Like I said before, he come up to centre wing to get his first possession, but looks sharp. Something that we haven't seen for a good 12 months.
He's Scotland getting back onto the ground.
Lance Whitnell still a blue.
Well, this will be good too.
In 2006.
Straight on. We didn't even see him.
Fisher chipping it down the line. Matty Lappin, he's still a blue as well. Could have gone elsewhere. 30 years of age. Down for Koutafidis in game 250 for the former Magpie in Scotland. To centre-half forward, DeLuca in front. Favola there. Dumped by White. No whistle, play on. Simpson buffeted down by Carroll. Bentic tied up, will get a bounce.
It's amazing the evolution of the game. You see players looking 30 metres only. You're very rarely bringing the ball out of defence to players look up and look for the 80-metre option.
Get out of the way, Byron's in town, although he was gang tackled. Green's handball taken by French. Ambitiously kicking it away effectively though, but Ward of Melbourne cuts it off for Travis Johnston. Coming off a super year, but running into Eddie Betts. Got the handball to Brown, he's got by Simpson, rewarded. Carlton's tackling terrific.
Well done by Cade Simpson. He got buffeted before at centre-half forward, got up, shook his head, got a good, laid a good tackle.
Had a breakthrough year last year, Simpson, with 15 games.
And I think that was the most important aspect of pressure in today's game. And the run from behind, the run from the forward line, I think determines who wins after time.
Murphy had his first kick to Thornton to Scotland. Turnover, Davey. Maloney. Long to Robertson. Lappin to beat. Lappin does well. Oh, but Thornton's given it away in the Shepherd. He got Robertson high and it hurt.
That was superb play by Lappin. The way he got back, didn't give away a free kick himself, and silly play.
Now Robertson has gone wide. Maloney from 48 out, deep on the boundary and behind.
Matty Lappin's another one that probably didn't have one of his best years last year and looks in good nick. Here it is again. Yeah. Definitely a free kick.
I'm glad you gave the umpires one early. In for a tough 22 weeks if you said that wasn't. Here's Scotland. Electing to go wide. Miller doing the harassing there on White. Going to be a good duel as well as Maloney to Davey. Can get within range here. 50 out on the run. Long ball. Put it up. Aaron Davies starts on a high.
We spoke about flooding just a couple of minutes ago. You can't give Aaron Davey that type of room outside 50. He will hurt you every time.
That is almost, I think, the looming is the more dangerous way to kick a goal. But if flooding is going to continue as we see, particularly early in matches where there's strength in the legs, that shot from 50 and the likes of Davey, you can do it well. Lindsay Gilbey for the Bulldogs, that's the danger spot.
Yeah, you have to give it that short one where they run to 50, so you take the flood out of play, or you get it in deeper over the top of the flood.
Paul Roos and his Swans assistant coach, John Longmire, looking on pensively after an opening round defeat to the Bombers. Ross Lane there as well. So Melbourne with the opening score through Davey, who kicked 30-32 last year. Got him third in the best and fairest. Has been working on his goal kicking a lot over the summer. As Bentic caught by Sylvia, pinged. Did not knock it out or make a sufficient enough attempt for Hayden Kennedy. Now White bouncing it up to another tall in Paul Johnson for Maloney, back for White, back for Maloney. Eddie Betts, quick hands. Well done, Eddie.
Well, right now I think Blues fans would be delighted with the way that their side that finished with the spoon last week has started the season. Melbourne, of course, were pretty impressive at various stages through the year, but I think their expectations are top 4 and above.
Green, cleverly for Johnston. Well, intended for Brown. Murphy chops it off, goes quickly. Everyone dashes back, and Melbourne will clean up through Ferguson with Uze, and they will switch it. Carroll's on short, has to mark, and does. Now Pickett's leading out to the outer wing. He goes to him. And Byron can go towards Sylvia at half forward, or Robertson on the lead. He chips it in between the two for Bruce.
It's great running by Colin Sylvia.
He's going to get it.
Well, it was unrewarded, I thought, but as you said, he just kept persisting, Clinton, and he bobbed up with it. He's run 250 metres for that.
And one too many short ones in the end, intended for Maloney. Simpson got it back at full stretch. Wait, nice mark.
Well, I followed him. He ran into the fence and then straight back out following the ball. He worked hard for his possession.
Lappin. Waiting. He's going to go to Whitnell in the centre corridor. Now, he's a good architect, usually. And he chips over the head of a lumbering French there, but the bounce favours Carlton. Favola going short into the pocket. Good one-on-one contests here. Johnston to the wing. Wonderful ball. Bruce, remember how he started last year. Bombs this one. Needs too strong. Not quite against Livingston. Robertson lurking as well. Melbourne, weight of numbers. Davey for his second. Look at him go! He's got two. Melbourne off to a flag.
Well, Mike Sheehan's top 50 is, I guess, taken on iconic proportions. It's part of the tradition, I think, of pre-season. And Aaron Davey was one of those players that could have been in, but he was left out of that top 50. I get a suspicion by season's end, Wayne, he is going to be almost a certainty for next year.
I know Mike listens to our call, Jared, so I'll say to him, how do you leave Davey out and put Wells in?
Well, both have started particularly well this season.
Hang on, look in the box. Is Mike in there? Where is he today?
Yes.
He was in with Grant Thomas on Thursday. Can't see him there.
Right now he's kicked two, Aaron Davey. Andrew Walker started on him. He'd be getting nervous, as would the box for the Blues.
French to Stevens, kick smothered. A second bounce. Jamar rucking with White having a rest. Not too far away from Scott Cummings down boundary side. Scotty, how have you seen the opening few minutes?
Well, it's pretty frantic down here, boys. There's a lot of intent by both teams, and Melbourne, geez, they fired up.
Lappin. Out wide. DeLuca kept his feet. Houlihan takes the footy. Favola on the lead. Fans wanted a free, not forthcoming. They'll get it eventually.
Well, there's a couple of incidents now where Favola just hasn't been rewarded with a decent kick.
How long will his patience last? DeLuca drops it off short for Lappin. That won't be 50. Lappin will have to kick it about 51 metres or thereabouts.
Dangerous player, isn't he? From deep in defence, he's pushed forward. He knows where the goals are, and he knows how to get the football.
The view from behind. He's hooked it. Got the distance, no problems. And Firo's back into the Demon cheer squad. Carlton's opening score are behind, with Motlop having a chat.
We've seen already, Jared, with the new rule of getting the ball in quick, definitely hasn't had any effect on any of the games so far.
Well, some people believe it'll just let this one travel.
Dangerous kick with Houlihan knocking it down. Betts picking it up. Will Simpson finish it off? Yes! Turnovers can be oh so costly, and Cade Simpson capitalises there.
Yeah, that hasn't changed, Clinton nor Wayne, has it? A turnover around that area, and you generally get hurt on the score. But I think it's going to take a while for it to settle down to see if it does have an impact. I believe that the Bulldogs did it so successfully on Friday night. But they used to go from one end of the ground to the other under the old rule. So it's hard to see hard to know just yet whether or not it's going to have a massive impact.
And probably wasn't a great game to judge it on, because there was just no pressure from Richmond whatsoever, was there?
It was the first gamer, Clint Bartram, there with a nervous kick. I think it's fair to say out of the back line that brought his team unstuck. White careering through with confidence, and then Paul Johnson not letting him go. Bartram to try and atone. Good work. Does okay for Johnston, who couldn't quite trap it. Whitnell should knock it out here. He's slapping it back into his knee. And we might end up with that bounce. Umpire's letting them go. Touch of Super 14 stuff as Whitnell gets the handball out. Miller caught. Uzo to run onto it on the right. And sits it up well for Sylvia.
And that's why Uzo is playing off a half-back flank, because of the use of the ball.
There's Neitz. And now Robertson leading, and Sylvia's going long. Pack forming, Bruce and Johnson and Neitz for Melbourne. Carlton happy to concede a behind.
I'm not sure every Melbourne fan agrees, but I tend to like seeing Brad Miller across the half-back line. I think Melbourne's weakness, if you looked at it coming to this match, would have been defence, but you put Miller down there and it really does stiffen it up. Not sure it's going to be a season-long move, but he's getting plenty of the footy.
Simpson. After a moment's hesitation, long ball, Waite and Miller will score that title bout today. Carroll's clearing kick back by Simpson, who's off to a whale of a start. This kick finds Whitnell in the centre corridor. Now, he'll go to Fisher. Patient build-up Blues. Houlihan. Oh, very wide, intended for Stevens. Davey chops it off.
Now, Carlton supporters may be harsh on Houlihan for that kick, but he had really no other option because there was nothing in the square for him and he was under pressure.
Scotland terrific there, putting the body on the line. Bartram, the ball following the kid. And he gets this one wide for Sylvia. Good kick, strong hands too. Nice mark in front of Lappin. Halfway through the opening term, Melbourne by 7 points. Colin Sylvia, after an at times eventful summer, goes for Ferguson. Now Maloney just bombs it up to the 50. Carazzo in front of Motlop. Now Scotland had it knocked away, and Motlop got a subtle nudge towards Green. Keeps his feet. Motlop about to be mown down. Sylvia likewise. Carlton hard at it. Murphy, quick hands to Luca. Here they go. Lappin. Oh, open forward. 50. Waite's going to run on and kick a goal. Enjoy this.
Oh, the bounce.
That's off to the races. And Jared Waite was fleet of foot. And then in the end, managed to pick it up and put it through.
You can't be too critical of Jared Waite there because the ball went straight through the middle of the goals, but I reckon he had a good 5-10 metres that he could have run with the ball. He put it on the boot probably quicker than I would have, but doesn't matter. Went straight through the middle.
Yeah, it was silver service, the bounce though, and I reckon you have seen this one before. This was almost Pagan Paddock-esque. It was just kicking into space. Brad Miller did a pretty good chase. He had him there for a minute, but then Waite just put on the afterburners and away he went.
There is no better feeling when you know you've got a good 10-15 metres running into that space, as long as that ball
it is bouncing end over end, and it was there rather than a little bit of a helicopter feel about it as Ward drives Murphy into the turf. Says welcome to the big league. We expected the Blues to come out hard, and that they have. And crowd getting a little jittery about some off-the-ball pushing and shoving. Nothing concerns the umpires. Bartram to Green to Maloney. Carlton won 2 of their 4 pre-season games. Robertson the fly, Thornton the spoil. Good hands from Johnson to Ward. Whitnell traps it well. Eddie Betts. There's time. Look out. Fisher had to walk.
Had a good start, Edward. Eddie Betts, the aspiring midfielder.
Fisher to Betts. They're backing themselves, the Blues. Favola got a leap. Oh, yes! Good for his confidence.
He's had to work hard to get his touch, and this is dangerous.
It's going to open the door for Cameron Bruce to knock it out wide, where Bartram almost, but not quite, ran onto it. And Livingston clears for Scotland, and they've got the overlap with Stevens running. On the lead out wide, Waite. Again, the delivery just a fraction short. Free kick, high one, Melbourne, advantage play on Maloney.
And good shepherd by the first game of Mark Murphy for Stevens.
Having a good start is Scotland. Impressively plucks that one down. Lappin. Coming up for his 7th kick already in just 18 minutes. Now Walker. Well,
Missed it.
made Whitnell wait, didn't he? But and he makes Carazzo wait. Lappin for Walker. Oh, good tackle, might lop a bounce.
Well, I guess that was just indecisive use of handball. It was a poor handball initially from Walker that set up Lance Whitnell, who then didn't have enough time to assess the scenario. And eventually it broke down.
Maloney's been prominent. Carazzo caught high, free kick, advantage. Was a pause on the whistle. Walker deep to full forward. Where are the Crummers? It's a high tackle. Murphy is going to have a shot at goal. 30 metres out. It was the umpire in the middle that had the whistle. Murphy was Wanganeen like there as he got crunched and ensured the umpire saw the contact. And Mark Murphy, as you have another look, gets a chance here to kick a goal with his 3rd kick in league footy.
It's a little bit wobbly after that contact too.
He's won 4 contested balls and earned 2 free kicks. You have to say he's had a good start. Can he finish it off? Can he put Carlton in front? Blues fans, this is what you've been waiting for. I was going to build it up. Oh, don't tell me, is it got there? It has. That's what they've been waiting for. Well, maybe the new Stephen Kernahan with a kick like that.
Certainly worked back into the wind, didn't it? Yeah, didn't look all that flash off the boot, but he got the result, and this is the reason why, because he attacked the footy.
Yeah. Head clash firstly with Carroll that I think might have been the main cause of the grogginess.
Well, he was pretty keen to get that football. He went straight past it into a ton of muscle from Melbourne.
Good on him. Carlton in front with 3 unanswered goals in the last 8 minutes.
Aaron Davey off the ground. Andrew Walker with a new opponent.
Stevens, quick hands. Fisher. Murphy again. Oh, worth the wait indeed. Eddie Betts and Favola. Back to Murphy. Oh, has he timed it? Well, he has. 15 metres it went. What a start for Mark Murphy.
Yeah, and that first chip kick, the one just before that one, was very smart also.
Yeah,
he saw
vision.
the player out of the corner of his eye, tried to put it to his advantage, and that was the exact same kick. Give Eddie Betts a chance under pressure. And as we said at the top of the game, this boy can be a match winner.
He debuted 12 months ago in round 1, kicked a couple against the Roos, went on to boot 19 for the year from his 19 games.
Here's another one that holds the ball at the top of the football. Maybe you'll have a look at that. But if that kick went 10 metres, 15 metres to mark it, the umpires are getting very generous.
Ward going back.
Got a couple of spares up the middle, Melbourne. Have a look
Ferguson
there.
out for Whelan. Now, where's he going to go? He's got Brown short, uses him. He'll give it to Maloney. Long ball. Need a flyer there. Scotland going without it. Robertson caught. Going in very hard. We'll get a bounce. 5 minutes to go opening term.
The Blues had 3 players at the fall of that ball. They just didn't use their voice. They had to have one of them shepherd, the other one talk to say he was going for the ball. They muffed it.
I think Melbourne have got to assess this situation of the long kick into the forward line.
What about the bounce here? Not good enough for Russell Robertson.
And the reason for that, Jared, is Lance Whitnell reads the play so well. And he's the one that is standing in that hole. He's had 6 possessions already, but he's in all of those packs.
They're set up structurally to have people take grabs, but Carlton have just got so many numbers there, and it actually slaughtered Fremantle today. They just didn't go away from plan A. And eventually, the frustration killed them. with Hawthorn just camping half a dozen extras in defence.
Carlton waxing it here, building up the numbers, not covering much real estate. Scotland now. And you have to hold it up. Yeah, Carazzo to work it out wide for Whitnell. Well, Favola reads it well, and a touch of showmanship as he goes to Simpson. On the lead, Kuda got crunched. Betts rides well, snaps hurriedly, and misses to the right-hand side.
Well, with Eddie Maguire out of town, this man could be the most famous Eddie in Melbourne before too long.
He's had 2 opportunities now.
Ferguson to McDonald. Sylvia having to wait for it. Kick was good. Sylvia long. Johnson's going to fly. Oh, and in from the side. Robertson cleaned up his teammate. Thornton for Lappin. Will go to the wing. Good kick. Oh, careless from Waite. Recovers. Then a high ball. Fisher takes the mark. Carlton wanting to run. Carazzo about to be collared. To McLaren, the former Lion. Back for Fisher. Keeps it low inside the 50. Carroll the spoil on Favola. McDonald clearing to Johnston. And now White. And Brown. Back for Travis Johnston. Fair to say a slow tempo about this game for the time being. Ward. Calling his teammates to come and help him. He has to carry it here. He still has to carry it.
Fisher's done a hamstring.
Oh, that's bad news. Get Scott to check on that. And you've done a lot of running there. Carrying the ball, and that is a turnover with the mark taken by McGrath. And he looks to go to Simpson, who's got a fly over Motlop. Stevens in support, though. No one on for him either. Kick smothered by Ward. McDonald. Whelan going for Johnson for Motlop. Now Neitz on a lead, and well, the kick doesn't go in his direction. It was going to Bruce, but Walker is there.
It's just so evident that precision kicking is becoming even more important in today's footy. You just can't give up possession, and the ball's only travelling 35 metres almost at the most, with the very rare exception. If you can't hit a target with 35 metres, you won't get a game for the Bulldogs, and you'll hurt yourself, hurt the club that you do play for.
You saw Brad Fisher with the medical staff. Looks like a right hamstring. Had an injury-interrupted year last year, playing just 7 games. So this is so not the way he wanted to start. Wow. High number of possessions here in the opening term. Carlton already with 66 kicks. Livingston to the wing. Loose man. He slipped, though, Walker. It meant he couldn't get to the footy. He traps it nicely, though. Puts it out in the path of Houlihan, but wide. Uzo wins a free. Advantage play on. Johnston's a good user. Gives Neitz a chance. Skipper away. Long to the goal square. One-on-one battle now. Thornton good spoil. Melbourne goal to Bruce. Demons back in front. Minute to go.
And all because of a 35-metre kick that didn't hit the target. Houlihan pushing it through the traffic. Had to find the target, the turnover. He had support players running from defence, and Melbourne had the ability then in open space to clear it up.
Speed of ball movement. Jared had come off half-back, got to David Neitz, one out, rather than in a pack situation. He gets it up to Robinson. Pretty good effort by Thornton, but there's a contest. There's not numerous Carlton players around the contest. Opens up, easy goal. That's the only way you can beat the flood.
Yep.
You've got to play on through the midfield and off half-back and get it in there as quick as you can.
It was interesting the number of people booing when Carlton were mucking around with the ball trying to find space, but that's footy as we know it right now.
Final minute. Stevens going to Favola. He's pushed. Might be advantage for Waite. That's presence of mind to play on, but he does not finish.
Yeah, he just mucked that one up completely. There were 2 handball options, and in the end he kept running too far, which put pressure on himself. This time we see the quick kick, but it takes them nowhere anyway.
Missed opportunities for the Blues in this first quarter. Eddie Betts has missed 2, and you add that one. Wait, 3 goals. Go begging. But that's the one, that quick kick in there, Jared, though, there's no use doing that because that just gets held up in the back pocket for Melbourne. Now they've gone short again. They're held up. Carlton have been able to get numbers back now. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, and it's one of the few times where you'll see a contested mark.
Time and ball on the wing. Down to 10 seconds. Motlop to half forward. Bruce with the leap. Whitnall caught by Pickett. Lappin for Houlihan, and that'll do us. Well, let's say it was interesting. Opening term for these two clubs, deadlock, 3-3 apiece.
It was interesting, and as we've seen from the start of the game, they're just getting numbers behind. Carlton are definitely doing that. Melbourne are doing it also. I just thought Carlton had a few more opportunities to kick goals in that quarter, probably doing it just a touch better.
Yeah, they broke into their forward line and should have had a reasonable lead on the board. But one thing is certain, if that opening passage of play, opening 30 minutes, is what we're going to see from Carlton, they're going to be a competitive side this year.
Matthew Lappin, 12 possessions already. I tell you what, he's on track for nigh on 50. Mark Murphy, good start. What a time. We're square at the dome on Fox Footy. Got a subtle nudge towards Green. Keeps his feet. Motlop about to be mown down. Sylvia likewise. Carlton hard at it. Murphy, quick hands to Luca. Here they go. Lappin. Oh, open forward. 50 Waite's going to run on and kick a goal. Enjoy this.
Cover the bounce.
The goal from Jared Waite, 1 of 3 from Carlton in a stretch of about 8 or 9 minutes where they kicked 3 in a row. Demons getting back 1 late to square us away at the opening term. Davey with 2, Bruce 1, Waite, Murphy and Simpson the goal kickers for Carlton, but Jared saying throw away the stat count. The Blues with 100 possessions in the opening term. Lappin leading the way, 12 possessions and 7 marks as we take you boundary side with Scott Cummings.
Thanks, boys. Dennis Pagan very pleased with the Chargers there in the last 15 minutes of that quarter, with a lot more run from the young fellas, and he's pretty excited about that. A special mention to Jared Waite, asking him to go through him at all times. Neil Danaher straight down there in amongst it, pretty passionate, wants more run from the back line and more precise kicking into the forward line.
Yeah, I think that precision of kicking is where Melbourne let themselves down, but no coincidence that the centre-half back, the national centre-half back and the half-back flank for Carlton have picked up 20 possessions between them.
Exactly right, and look, Lance does it probably better than anyone in the competition. The only way you hurt a guy like Lance is going through his man. At the moment, Melbourne aren't capable of doing that.
Mark Murphy's debut, Wayne, opening term, 7 possessions, 5 of them contested ball 1.
Very impressed with young Mark Murphy. Like Jared said, you can, in today's footy, sometimes you can throw the stat sheet out, but like you said, 5 of those contested possessions, the kid goes at it.
He knows how to find it. You can just see he's got a very mature footy brain, and he looks very comfortable. What about Byron Pickett? We see him coming from the ground. You played with him for many years, Wayne. How do you see his role at Melbourne?
Well, look, he has to have a big year, Byron. They've got him to Melbourne for his hardness. A lot of people in the media and also in the general public believe that Melbourne probably lacked a little bit of hardness, so they brought Byron Pickett over from Adelaide for that reason. Probably hasn't shown his best form to this point.
Good attendance, more than 30,000 on hand already for this Sunday evening game as Byron takes a seat for the start of the second quarter. Jeff White, who got married over the summer to Stacey. He surprised his fiancée Stacey then at the time by placing a huge custom-designed diamond ring in a soup bowl at their favourite Japanese restaurant, but he then found the words hard to come by. I think Stacey got the gist of it, that it was will you marry me? So he's a romantic at heart. All square, start of the second term. Demons to the right are underway with White and French, the ruckman, and Walker coming in hard off the line, dragged out of it. Houlihan getting the hurried kick away. Miller buffeting into Scotland. Houlihan shrugging 1, not the second. Had support. Waite chipping it short, wasting it over the head of French. Eddie Betts, little dinky kick near the boundary line. bowl of Skittles for Carroll and French and a boundary throw in the result.
Great passage of play in the opener. You had Brad Miller charging through off the half-back, and then there was a small bit of ball flutter, and then Houlihan finding a way through the middle. Just another occasion where we see a poor kick, though.
And Jared Waite's attack on the footy was pretty good.
Crowd wanted a free, not there to bench. Might get it anyway, the Blues. Scotland to Stevens. McDonald alongside, diving in on it. He's caught. Plenty of navy blue there. A bounce on the Carlton 50.
There is a lot of talk about the courage of footballers today compared to a few years ago. And if you go back to a few years ago, you often saw players, I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, there are always players in those type of situations that didn't go as hard. You very rarely see players pull out of tough situations these days.
Yeah, the focus is certainly far more on it. And I guess the way the game's played, it's just the requirement. Just looking at Anthony Koutafit, he's only had the footy on 3 occasions, just 1 kick. He's one that Carlton will hope will find it a bit more this quarter.
Here's Brad Miller for his first kick. A high one. Is that out? And working hard. Nathan Brown, who working hard is something you associate with his name. Goes here for Green. And Melbourne just a little bit surprised, it might appear, by Carlton's style early. Still trying to find their feet as Maloney marks below us on the wing. Patience, the order of the day, as Bruce takes it.
A couple of good blocks for Bruce by Travis Johnson to allow him to get a bit of space.
And his patience rewarded with the lead, and Brown gets it again. Wants to go quickly now. Inside 50, great kick. And Robertson's got the mark.
That was just very patient work by Melbourne. They brought the ball from half-back to a shot at goal inside forward 50 just by holding the ball.
Chipping it up along the wings. And I guess we first saw that come into footy when Mick Malthouse went across to the Eagles. It was really his innovation, I guess, that gave them a jump, gave the Eagles a jump on the rest of the footy world and took them to a couple of flags.
Had a great year last year, Russell Robertson, kicking 73 goals and was runner-up in the best and fairest. He misses this one to the right-hand side to square us away again. Lapping short. Carazzo, the mark. Scotland for Houlihan. To the wing, DeLuca. Good mark.
He's such a vital player for Carlton, Ryan Houlihan, because he's got good disposal and he can make good decisions. He has just got to mature now as a player.
And the guy he kicked it to, DeLuca, is another important player. We know he can play in the ruck, but he has a versatility to play as a forward.
Favola the crumbs and dribbles it home. His first of the new season, Carlton by a goal.
Well, they worked that one from a missed shot from Russell Robinson. First kick went up the middle, which is more dangerous because you can then go either side. They elected to go to the city side of the ground. They brought it in with a long kick, and it was pretty smart play because this bloke created the crumb. And you just see there, Favola lose his man, and Carroll will be disappointed when he looks on that one. He just started ball watching rather than guarding.
And that's what he has to do, Brendan. They're going to be games where you don't take a lot of marks. You have to find other ways to kick goals. On that occasion, front and square. But he's had a different type of game. We know he can play full forward, but he's got most of his possessions up the ground today.
Stevens kick smothered. Melbourne emerge quickly. McDonald inside 50. Paul Johnson there, but diving on it first. McGrath and wins a free.
Well, that was very, very dangerous by McGrath.
It was. It could have easily gone the other way.
Easily been holding the ball. We know how they're hot on diving on the ball these days.
Whitnell's 9th possession to Lappin, who will have his 13th.
In fact, there was one replayed exactly like that, where a Melbourne player was underneath in the first quarter, and it drew the boos from the Melbourne fans here.
Carazzo just to the attacking side of the wing, now going back to it. Walker. 18 games last year, his second AFL season. High one to centre half forward. Tough to mark this. Carlton waiting down, reading it well. Scotland, he's going to get it back. 50 out on the run. Heath Scotland to the pocket. French the leap. Wait, still a chance. Good pickup.
Oh, what a goal that is! There was a Stephen Milne slip there, bounce back up, and snap it truly. Carlton leading by 2 goals now.
Well, I think Jared White has solved a potentially dangerous moment at Carlton, because right there as he slipped, I think Dennis Pagan was blaming the curator of the Telstra Dome and the owner, his president.
We spoke about Jared White at the start of the game, but really, if he takes the next step, he is a future superstar of the game because of his agility and his running ability across half forward. Very hard to match up on.
Carlton have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals of this match now. And the Melbourne fans might be getting a little jittery soon. This upset that Wayne forecast before the game, is it coming to fruition? Clearance the Blues. Houlihan for Wade again. Now, can he hit Favola? He's on the lead! Blues have got the last 9 marks of the match now, and Fev can kick his second and extend the lead to 18 points.
And that pass by Jared White is every bit as good as his goal, because he marks the ball, he comes from centre-half forward, marks it, plays on, hits the leading full forward. That's what a good centre-half forward does. He also hits targets, and it's not all about kicking goals, it's about setting them up. Great play, Jared White.
Fev takes his allotted 30 seconds. Umpire's not going to hurry him up. Can he kick truly? He can! Carlton on the march!
He's a beautiful kick, Brendan Favola, and he seems pretty happy right now, because he's not just playing football that is about him, he's playing football that's about the Blues.
And look, if there probably was a criticism of Brendan Favola, it is that he's maybe one-dimensional, especially when he plays full forward. What he's done today is he's come up the ground, he's got possessions up the ground, he's then gone back. His first goal was a front and square crump.
Yep.
He now takes a mark on the lead, kicks a goal, and that's exactly what he has to do. Otherwise, he's just players work him out. He's too easy to defend against.
Demons desperate now for a bit of leadership through the middle of the ground. They've just got to start winning some midfield footy.
Well, French to Stevens to Murphy. Oh, he backs himself, the young fella. Goes for it. Misses. That was set up, wasn't it? He'll be disappointed by that.
It was, and if you were to say anything about his first game, and even a couple of games in the NAB Cup, his kicking has probably let him down just a touch.
We showed in the preview, though, he kicked a magnificent spearing kick in the under-18 competition,
Yes.
Clint, and it just was like a dagger. This time he looks like he's trying to caress the footy a little bit.
Just not hitting the boot correctly, is it?
Bruce at half-back. No. Making Uzan work for it. Ditto to Green, ditto to Ferguson. These Blues are excited. Bruce going wide. Waite, caught by Miller. Got the hand pass away. Melbourne a chance. Green drips it out wide. The skipper with Robertson leading, doubling back now. Neats hanging on to it. Forward line crowding up. He goes to Robertson again. Thornton to beat. Play on the call. Lappin, dangerous. McGrath, effective. Houlihan, wise.
Thornton's done well on a couple of occasions against Russell Robinson. He's probably had the best position, but Thornton's been able to get back and put good spoils on.
Robertson, 4 kicks, but goalless so far. Needs knocking it in front of McDonald. Tight angle. Too tight. Now, will the Blues bring it in quickly here? They've got the footy ready to go, Lappin, but as the Demons watch, he waits. And goes short for Thornton.
Interesting that Carlton have elected basically to ignore the new rule and just play on when they're ready.
Walker couldn't hang on. Neats. Dumped. Oh, clever. Perfect handball from Walker to Stevens. Intended for Betts, but it's chopped off by Bruce. Melbourne on the counter-attack. Bruce carries it a while. Is going to thump it long. Robertson's going to try and fly. Whitnell stands his ground. Play on the call. Lappin for Thornton for Simpson. And they'll clear the danger zone.
He runs his full measure. And then Cooley kicks to the skipper for his second kick in game number 250. For DeLuca, for Scotland, who's seeing plenty of it. His 12th touch for Favola.
Well, they've certainly moved the ball through the middle of the ground. The better of the two teams at the moment, the Blues.
Can Fed kick this?
This is within his distance. He's definitely one of the better kicks from this type of range in the league.
Aren't mobile ruckman just so pivotal right at the moment?
And Nick Stevens coming off the ground as we speak, because he went short before when he had Jared Waite long, and knowing Dennis Pagan quite well in the way he likes to play through that area, Nick's having a rest for that short kick.
30 seconds up right now for Favola, who bangs it from 55 out to the right.
Wouldn't be just a rotation for Stevens?
No rotation. As soon as he went short and it got turned over,
Bang.
I was about to say the runner will be going out. Maybe not to come off, but certainly a message. But I'm sure he'll be told. He had the reason for that. He had Jared Waite as a longer option in a one-on-one duel.
Oh, look at this. Travis Johnston, of all people, turns it over. DeLuca for Kuda. Centering kick, good option. Good option. French leaps couldn't mark. And now Melbourne can go. Maloney sprinting down the centre corridor. Chipping it for Miller.
Got to get a goal from this one.
Bartram, the first gamer. Runs to 50.
She's going to kick.
He can kick, all right. How's that for the boy from Ocean Grove? Pick number 60 in last year's national draft, and his mates say, welcome to the AFL.
It was good play by Melbourne. It was, you see here, the spoil. 20 metres out from goal. They got their running game going. Got the ball through the midfield. Were able to hit a couple of targets. And what a difference it makes.
Yeah, plenty of good courage there from the kid. He took on the first one and backed himself in, took some responsibility for the shot at goal, and gets a big hug from the captain.
From a goal kicker number 1 to a man who's kicked 534 of them.
I reckon if his coach was near him, he would have given him a hug too, because that's just what the Demons needed.
Maloney thumping it in the Robertson direction. Simpson waiting down. Next to go long to a one-on-one near the wing. Ward, good use of the body against Murphy.
Just experience there by Ward, just able to out-body young Mark Murphy.
Johnston to centre half forward, target Neats.
Just too busy for that kick. Melbourne know that they're going to have to change that up, I would think, because Neats is predictable leading to that spot, and Carlton have got 3 men camped there.
Blues by 13 points, nearing the halfway mark of quarter number 2 on Fox Footy Sunday, as we kickstart the 2006 campaign. Travis Johnston getting away from the grass, sidestepping Lappin, handballing to Neats. The skipper goes for it and hits the post.
Melbourne have got Cameron Bruce just playing as that loose man in defence. And I don't think it'd take him to get too many possessions before Carlton said somebody's got to man him up. He's just too dangerous.
He is, isn't he? He'll almost have a defensive forward to ensure he's accountable as Simpson marks and lays it off for the running Lappin for Simpson. Found an opening, closes to 60, to 55. To the goal square. Good spoil. Miller away from Jared Waite.
They've got a taste for it, the Blues. I think they're running harder than Melbourne at the moment. Melbourne have come into the game with a number of players perhaps who'll be a lot better in a month's time after interrupted pre-seasons.
Short boundary throw in. Melbourne with numbers. This is Whelan. Bruce. Carroll. Back for Ferguson. For Green. Sylvia and McGrath doubling back. Sylvia will be favoured by the bounce. Traps it eventually.
Good work.
Goes short. Lunging spoil by Whitnell. Read it magnificently. Scotland away. Oh, he was going for Koutafidis, but Daniel Ward, brave, and did well to hang on. Green.
Needs one out for the first time, but they drop back into the space.
And good use of the body too by the Blues as French marks.
A lot of talk about Courage running back with the flight. I believe that's the most courageous mark in football that French took.
Running into the path of someone else's knee.
White is caught and gone.
Having no protection at all when you go back like that. When you run back with the flight.
Oh, Bartram, the first gamer said, we'll take advantage, thank you. And Holohan, as the field opens up, Favola's all alone.
He's got no one to give it to, though.
So don't blaze away, Fed, unless you can cover 55. Can he cover 55? That's the question. No, he's 5 too short.
He's played well, Brendan, but that was a very silly kick. Unless he could cover the distance, as you were saying, Jared, it was always going to go into Melbourne hands.
He just had to hold and wait.
Yep.
Motlop. They're getting excited, the Blues. They're in front by 12 points against a finalist of last year. Walker. Spoiling here. McGrath. Underground handball. Thornton. Caught by Davey. Creative tackle attempt and rewarded. Shot at goal coming up for the Demons.
Aaron Davey again. He's got a liking for the defensive side of the game, which is fantastic because he is so dangerous with a footy in his hands as well. He's a complete package.
And I don't know how the ball was going to get out of there, but Aaron Davey now, who kicked 3-9 in his last 3 games last year, has set shots every Wednesday with Byron Pickett. Loser buys the other a nice chocolate.
Your shout. I reckon Aaron Davey's got potential to play as full forward, just push everybody up the ground. Now, I know the opposition can drop players into his space, but if he can get a forward 50 by himself, go up the ground and run back with the flight of the ball, no one will stop him.
Koutafidis one out. Miller, good use of the body. Carroll from Jamar to Bruce. For Whelan, under pressure again, slipping away. Now he's going to go to the centre corridor, is he? He's not sure yet. He does now. Good option. Sylvia seeing a bit of it for Brown. Going long, Neats in a pack of 5 in front.
Well, it's just such a vital mark for Melbourne. You have to have somebody who can take a grab eventually, because at the moment we're seeing basically kick to kick between the loose players for Carlton back to the loose players for Melbourne. And to break the trend, somebody has to take a grab.
Norm Smith kicked the last of his 546 goals 58 years ago. Neats is 12 short of him, tying the club record. Is this the first for a new campaign? No, just misses.
Hit the poster.
He's had 2 posters.
And the team has had 3. And they're spraying some chances as the Blues stay in front, short of time on, here in quarter number 2.
They've had all the momentum over the last 6 or 7 minutes, so Melbourne.
Scotland got a good shepherd.
It's good defence by Melbourne. They've got nowhere to go and had to come to the other side of the ground to get an outrider.
McGrath is that man. Miller and Koutafidis overrun it. Will it stay in for Cooter on the 50? Yes. Maloney to get around. Centering ball. Sylvia. He's filling some gaps this quarter.
It's just been a couple of turnovers that the Blues have had as they've come into that forward 50 that have allowed Melbourne to get that running game going off half-back and create more opportunities.
Bruce damaging. Going deep. Robertson there, but Lappin does well with the spoil.
Reads a play as well as anybody in the game, Matthew Lappin. He's a vital player down there.
He was one player that the Blues couldn't afford to lose last year, and at one stage looked like it was going to happen. But
Brown lurking. McDonald back for Byron. No, he's a damn buster. He can really load it up. Have to give it a big roost here. He's just going to sit it up top of the square, hoping for Robertson. McLaren, the former Lion, is there to fist it away. That's worth the kick. Spawn. Touch of the fumbles, yet to get the pace of the game. Bruce for Motlop. Can he get there? No. McLaren did well. McGrath slaps it out. Brown Going himself. Good tackling, though, by Carlton. Stevens now. Can Houlihan slap it clear? Near the boundary line. McDonald of Melbourne, well done. Whitnell's going to send it over the line. You could see that coming. Boundary throwing.
It's been intense. You have to pay tribute to the work rate of both sides. It hasn't been pretty, but they are just going gangbusters, both teams.
Demons in attack with J-Mar palming it down. McLaren slick. Oh, Thornton is caught high by Davey. Advantage is paid now, so this is a 50-50 ball, and Ferguson affects the spoil. Gee, quick in there. Favola's enjoying himself today.
Could be a free here.
Play on.
Got it out. Well done.
Scotland the handball. Oh, great bump by Favola. Simpson takes it. Carlton have got an open forward line, but they can't quite get it. Koutafidis, there's no one inside Carlton's 50. Favola. Smothered by Uzo. And still Fed goes. And he gets it to Scotland. But this is where Melbourne should win out, and they do. Ward. Oh, here's a go. Johnston. Takes his time. Robertson leads very wide. Johnston ignores that, goes to the middle where Carlton have the numbers. Then McGrath is impressive.
Brilliant stuff by Brendan Favola. I think...
don't wait for it. Pickett knocked it down. Uze from 50 to the goal square. Pickett couldn't trap it. McGrath clears. Now Carlton can run.
Yeah, just Brendan Favola. He's absolutely knackered at the present time, but he has worked pretty hard for his team.
Got to come out to late. They had no one to kick it to.
And that's because Brendan Favola hasn't worked back in, and that's why even the full forwards have to have their fitness up these days like midfielders.
3 minutes to go. Can Carlton soak this up and take a near 2-goal lead into half-time? If they can, they'd be well pleased.
Favola should come off the ground. He's gone.
Yeah, there has been a change too. Ferguson's gone on to wait. And Miller has gone on to Koutafidis.
Been more than 10 minutes without a goal. One either way in the shadows of half-time would really signal a shift in momentum.
It's a pretty handy lead, though, in a low-scoring game. 10 points is... I'm sure Dennis Pagan will bank that every time.
Wide on for the final few minutes. Knocking it for McDonald. For Davey. He's quick. We know that. Crowd say in unison how far. Does not matter. Whitnell's got it. Got Wade out wide. Now the only player he can go to is Murphy on the wing or hang on to it. So he hangs on to it and elects to go short. Thornton. Scotland.
There's one here before half-time with 2 minutes to go. Would be against the flow of play, but it'll be very damaging for the Blues.
Now, have they got a forward structure here? Koutafidis for Favola on the lead. Well knocked away by the Demon defence. Whelan for White. Nimble. Carroll for Bruce. Down to 2 minutes to go.
11th possession for the quarter for Bruce.
Long to the 50. Maloney. Goal square's unguarded. Maloney lines it up. Bends it back. And bounces it to the line where it's helped through. Oh, desperate stakes there on French in the nick of time.
Yeah, Cameron Bruce has had 11 possessions. Heath Scotland's also had 11. It looks like they're playing on one another. So the 40-foot leg rope's out.
You'd enjoy that sort of task, wouldn't you? Let's whack the numbers up. Scotland overall with 18 uses of the footy. Spawn. 90 seconds to go. First half here on Fox Footy. McGrath. There's been a dearth of close matches in this opening round. Are we in store for one tonight? McLaren in his first game in a Carlton jumper, soccering it forward. Whelan tracking it the wrong way. Shrugging off the would-be tackler. Bruce again for Whelan.
Favola's hurt his shoulder in that clash.
Now his teammates were telling him to switch. They don't. Bruce stabs it to the wing. Johnston couldn't get there. Down to a minute to go. Still time either way. Lappin for Houlihan. Loose man is on short on the 50. Is he going to get it? Oh, wait. Has Ferguson to beat? Will he run around him? He will. Will he kick straight? Big moment this. Oh, and White sprays it. That would have been something.
It's a better build-up, but looks like Waite pushed to full forward. Kudafiti's playing at centre-half forward, and all of a sudden struggled just to get that ball in deeper.
Miller, 30 seconds. Almost need a shot clock on the game now. Managed to get it from one half to the other. Oh, well, don't tell me they're going to open the door for the Blues. McGrath's kick deflected inside 50, but there's plenty of demons there. McDonald goes wide. Well, we're going to have a boundary throw in with 9 seconds to go between wing and half forward for Carlton.
Well, they're still on 400 possession pace, Clinton. They've had 88 possessions this term, Carlton.
French knocking it down, and that will do us for the opening half. Just a second remains, and Carlton are going to take the lead into the long break. Coming off a wooden spoon season against a finals team. And the feeling in their respective coaching boxes a little different to how 2005 ended. Carlton by 10 points at half-time.
Well, you just have to tick off work rate, A+ for both sides, Wayne. I thought it was just fantastic. Tackling skills, amazing. Defensive skills everywhere. But for the fans, I guess, they want to see plenty of goals. Most of all, they want to see a victory, though, Clinton.
That's
and
right.
Right now, it could go either way.
Yep. If it's by 1 or 50, they don't mind. Blues by 10 points at half-time. Opening round on Fox Footy. We're set to go. Dean Margetts putting us underway.
And Bentic straight on to Travis Johnson. Again.
White shoveling the hand pass out in the direction of McDonald. First couple of goals going to be so important. Can the Blues get them and perhaps shut it down? We'll wait and see. Spawn, Houlihan, Stevens, quick fire hand passes, boundary line looms, throw in.
And Johnson was interesting where he started. Wayne, he pushed down to the half-back flank, so perhaps trying to break this pretty oppressive type tag. They're going to get Johnson to play as a sweeper across the half-back line.
McLaren, Murphy, DeLuca can come back on. Fisher with the red line through his name. An injured hamstring will see no further part. Scotland caught by Green. Carazzo cleverly for Bentic. Tight on the boundary line. Brings it back to the goal square. Melbourne, will they concede? Carroll keeps his feet well. And then, now it's a foot race. Lappin's going to get there first. French should have time to shepherd. Lappin kicks early and well. Favola, question of accuracy. Today he's kicked 2 goals too.
Well, Carroll, that was just classic defence. A defender's mentality. He went for the space, for the safety of the boundary line. Couldn't kick it out of bounds because of the new rule. But at no stage did he look up the middle of the ground, which I reckon a midfielder would have done, and that's where Melbourne had their spare players.
It was, and that's one of the great positives of this new rule. You can't just kick it out of bounds. It really does keep the ball alive.
Another of the AFL contingent that got married in the summer. Is he kicking straight here? Not quite. Missing to the near side. 2 goals, 3 the return for Favola. Uze to bring it back into play. Very, very crowded. 30 players in Carlton's attacking half. Uze going wide for Green.
That's half the job done. Now they've got to clear and get it through this space.
They've done a good job in their zones, Carlton. What they've been able to do is that first kick, they've been able to hold it up, and a lot of sides give the first kick up. It's that second kick that's a dangerous one, and you see here, Carlton have really put the pressure on them in that area.
And they're becoming more mobile zones these days, aren't they? Stevens.
That was play on.
He's given some latitude, and he kicks precisely to Kudafiti's. Now, one more, and they're in range. Kuda bombs it long. Into the pocket. He's got the Sittner's weight. Green knocks it down, and it's taken out by Ward.
Well, I think the long bomb to a one-on-one is a pretty fair play, but the long bomb to 3 against 2 or 4 against 2 is just a killer in footy, and we saw Fremantle exposed badly today against Hawthorn, persisting with that tactic.
Bentek for Houlihan. Been all right. Boundary throw in again.
It was an interesting one there with Waite. What he did, he probably had the sit, and the type of player that Jared is, decided to go the body, probably should have had a jump at it.
Koudafidi's knocking it down. Uze for Travis Johnston. Oh, persistent with the tackle and chase. McGrath. White for Uze, for Bruce over his head. Good work by Lappin. We'll get another boundary throw in.
I reckon it's that reason that you need your best decision makers almost in defence, particularly when you're bringing the ball out, because the pressure is unbelievable down there. It's trying to work it through a gang tackle.
Miller's going to run onto this, allows McDonald to Shepherd, got the ball to Green, Thornton in the way, kicks to the 50, bad bounce for Vollett, still an awkward, tricky ball. Betts good chase. Maloney did well, drew the defence, got it to Uze. His kick though turned over. Stevens now loose man on the outer side. This is what they want. Some run. McGrath can drive it long inside the 50. Big fly for Voller at the front. Waiting down Eddie Betts. Sprays it.
Great signs for Carlton, though. Melbourne have just got to penetrate this wall, because eventually Carlton will get one to go through. They've got to get some football inside their forward half.
Only one change to the score since half-time. Behind 2 for Voller. Carlton by 11 points. Carroll to bring it back into play. Gets the hurry up. Play on now. Has to go to a contest. French, White for Voller, and Walker over the top to spoil. And we'll get another boundary throw in.
There's not too many players in the league that read the ball off a pack like Eddie Betts. I mean, there are a number of players, obviously, throughout the whole league, but I don't think there's too many better than Eddie.
He's a special at it.
Hits it with real speed.
Going nowhere in a hurry. A bounce. Adam Bentek is there.
It's almost at a stage where if you're watching an under-11 game, the umpire just pluck a free kick to clear the mess.
Yeah. White knocking it down. Oh, look at the scrum here. Can it break free? Yes.
Gone.
Travis Johnston did not hear or see Carazzo coming.
It's actually been run down, I reckon, 3 times, Travis Johnson. The pressure from behind has been enormous from the Blues.
Here's French towards Stevens.
Good effort.
Bartram there knocking it down. Sylvia goes to ground. 2 on 2. Lappin the tackle. Bartram about to be collared. Stevens, open goal beckons. He chips it to the square. Wait, goal! Number 3 for Jared. Blues by 17 points.
Well, right now you'd be getting pretty nervous if you're a Melbourne supporter. There's the tackle and the turnover. Outstanding performance from the Blues to run from behind and pull that one down. And Nick Stevens generally would have put that away himself, but it was a bit of an up and under, and was it a push in the back?
I don't think so. I think that, look, basically that's Carlton's pressure that's given them that goal, and Jared Waite looms as the real match winner.
I reckon Dennis would be showing the Carazzo chase half a dozen times this week.
I'm sure it'll be on the positives tape.
Yeah, it's getting really interesting now. White down for Green for McDonald. 17 points the margin. That's almost the biggest it's been. The Blues were 19 ahead before the late Bruce Culver in the second quarter, and that's a killer of a turnover there.
They are on the cusp here, the Blues. If they can get another 1 or 2, they could just about break Melbourne. Melbourne have to hang in here.
Livingston goes short for Lappin.
We need a couple of senior blokes just to get some footy and get a goal or 3.
Carlton haven't won an opening round game for 5 years. Scotland kicking towards half forward. Carroll near the boundary line. Had to keep it in, but might be to their own detriment. For Voller, for Houlihan. Quick hands. Spawn going long. Wait. Yes! No! High tackle. High infringement, Melbourne free.
Have another look.
Have to see that one in the replay because Ferguson took his eyes off the footy and just went straight at the man. We'll get back to that, no doubt.
Pickett to the wing. McDonald, good overhead. Plays on. Whelan for Johnston. Will he go short? Neeks on the lead. Wow, what a two-goal swing, potentially.
Yeah, first time he's found some space. David needs to lead in and take a chest mark like that. This is so vital to have a look at this free kick, but what a kick this is for the captain.
Hello, Roberta.
What do you think about that? Anyone going to say? You agree with it or not?
Still to have another look at it, the way it developed.
Okay. Here's Neeks then for his first goal of the season. And it is a two-goal swing.
It's a tough one, that free kick against Jared Wade. I think that Ferguson's objective, his eyes weren't on the ball. He come in with his head low.
It's a question whether he put his head underneath the arm as against whether the arm went over the head.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. He did come in low, but technically, was Jared's elbow in, was it high? Yes, it was.
Good movement from Melbourne to get it to Neeks for the finish. And career goal number 535 for the veteran. Back to an 11-point game. Stevens. Turnover. Ward. Margin 11 points. Centering ball for Jamar. Carazzo closing. Jamar hangs on. You sense a pivotal 3 or 4 minutes coming up here. Can Melbourne squeeze another one? Whelan short. Sylvia play on the call. Uze about to be mown down. Oh, couldn't hang on to it. Lap and dump. Play on the call. We'll have a bounce.
Well, let's take another look at this one. Wayne, give us your version of what's your decision. Here comes Nick Stevens.
Technically, may have been high, but I would have paid the mark.
On the wing for Vola. Flips it in the path of Kudafeed. He's brought down. Ferguson for Pickett. On the lead wide is Bruce. Boundary throwing. And Favola is having a spell with DeLuca coming on. As you see Thornton smash it away.
Probably could have marked that ball in the end. Thornton, he had Cameron Bruce under the ball. Was able to just go back and got both fists on it. If you can get both fists on it, generally you can mark it. Brett.
Oh, watch this man go. Hello. Aaron Davies got his third. He's just fantastic to watch. And maybe that's what he's got to do. Just go on the run. Forget about this set shot business.
Well, it was just a brilliant individual piece of play. Not sure if the ball actually got touched by the ruckman. I think they both missed it. He just read it best. And Andrew Walker, he just, I mean, it's just a lesson every time, isn't it? You just cannot give this guy half a metre.
No, you'd have to stand goal side of that contest and make sure that he doesn't get past you, because once he has half a sniff, he's just too quick.
His finishing skills are brilliant.
And it's game on now. Less than a goal the difference. Melbourne with their backs up. Sylvia dumps Spawn. Big tackle fairly. Stevens to Houlihan. High to half forward. Standing tall. Wait fairly. Takes the mark. Plays on. One-on-one in the goal square. DeLuca in a wrestle. Getting back Ferguson. Good mark. Quick kick. Ward on the rebound. Uze back for Ward. Now Carroll can go here and go a long way and then give to McDonald if Simpson peels off. Simpson peels off. Carroll kicks inside 50. Melbourne searching for the lead. Can Robertson provide it? He snaps hurriedly and misses. 3 behinds. Russell Robertson without a goal today.
All of a sudden, the game has opened up a little. Melbourne have got more space in their forward line, and it is going from one end of the ground to the other very quickly.
Gee, Whitnell close to being outside the centre, the goal square. But got the kick away.
The Wayne's right. I mean, Carlton are always going to be challenged to keep up the work rate they did in that first half.
And right now, halfway or thereabouts through this third quarter, it really is a struggle. Are they cramping up? Waite gets to his feet.
Having said that, if the umpire had have gone the other way and it was a 50-50 ball because Ferguson grabbed Waite first, the goal line would be 8-5. So it's an evenly poised match, this one, for sure.
Neil Danaher pensive. Well, then again, which coach wouldn't be at this point? Sylvia knocking it away. McDonald for Green. And again, it's 3-on-2 Carlton's way here. As we showed you in our half-time tactics, Walker back for Thornton. Now, this is where they've really got to work hard. Can Thornton...
They got Cooter up the middle, but the vision's not there.
Can he get him?
Yes, he is.
Perfect to Spawn. Now, Stevens, it'll sit for him all right. Johnston closing. Stevens from 50, long kick, misses. The frustration of it all.
Such a good user of the football, usually, Nick Stevens, and didn't quite make the distance on a chance he had a few minutes ago, and then didn't make the best of that one.
Whelan to Sylvia, is going to fly.
Oh, got a corky right in the buttock.
Stevens wins the free.
Former Carlton president would have turned something else, but that's where it was.
"50 plays 46. Melbourne have won 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two. Working hard here. Waite, it bounced just short a bounce.
That kick had have been a touch higher. Jared Waite found a lot of room. That was a fairly congested forward line.
Murphy on for Stevens. Motlop on for Sylvia. Inside 50s this term, dominated by Carlton. Their return has been just 1 goal, 1.
And Stevens on the phone. Dennis Pagan having a chat to him. I'm not sure what it'll be about.
And Jared Waite coming off and Favola on.
And still talking.
That may be a rotation fitness thing with Jared Waite. We saw before he was on the ground doing a stretch. Looked like he was getting a little bit of cramp. Dennis may want to leave a little bit up his sleeve with Jared.
Chance for Melbourne to clear. Pickett's handball made Davey work. He's equal to it.
The 3 back, the Blues.
Melbourne, a chain of hand passes. Walker did well. Read it nicely. Chopped it off. Sets up the Blues. Good kick to half forward.
This is where he's got to hold because there's nothing there.
Carazzo centering it. Koutafidis, Spawn getting back over his head. Ferguson caught. McDonald now out for Whelan. They dodge another bullet. Motlop working hard to get to the wing. Got it. Still going. Can he get by French? He can't. Has to go very wide. Good pressure, Barnaby French. Forces the turnover and a Carlton free kick. They play on quickly to Thornton. Now Simpson has to wait.
And they've got the overlap. Stevens out wide, and then you've got Andrew Walker up the middle.
And he goes to him. Now, can Walker hit a target? On the lead, goes to centre half forward for Scotland. Just too far out. Swings onto the left. 55. Bombs it long to the square. Favola in a wrestle. And Ferguson helps it through for a rush behind as we head boundary side with Scott Cummings. Down to you, Scott.
15, 20 seconds maybe. Copped his spray, went back on 20 seconds later. So obviously no rotation problems, just Dennis needed a chat.
And Nick Stevens back out there as Davey goes wide. Bartram. Oh, he's going to make the skipper work here. Boundary throw-in.
Back down to you, Scotty. Do you think it was a spray or more instruction about maybe running an extra 4 or 5 metres into the forward 50 and giving yourself a genuine shot at the goal?
You're probably spot on, Jared. I've seen Nick Stevens get sprays before, and I've seen how he handles them. So he didn't seem to dislike the conversation, but he wasn't enthusiastic about it either.
Okay.
French fisting it clear. I'll get a comment from you, Wayne, in a moment about Dennis Pagan's usual phone demeanour as Breen centres it top of the square. French. When you handed the phone and Dennis is on the other end, you've just done something wrong. What are you expecting?
Oh, look, look, Dennis is fair. If you get dragged from Dennis Pagan, you usually know you've done something wrong. So you fully expect it. Playing league footy.
In the old days, you just put the hand up, didn't you? And just say, yeah, I know I've done something wrong.
We went through a stage of putting the hand up. Didn't last long.
Lappin. 7.5 minutes remaining in the third. Blues clinging to a 5-point lead. Lappin clinging to the football. Kicking it long for Vola. Really worked hard and got pushed. Advantage could be play on here for Houlihan. And will they bring it back? No.
Well, they shouldn't bring it back. Once you elect to take the advantage like Houlihan did, we only get one lick of the spoon.
Well, last year they were very lenient in that regards.
Yeah, and this is great work by Brendan Favola. As you said, he worked hard. But right now, Carlton have got the same problem that Melbourne had in the first half, and that is that they're working really well through defence, but they can't get it together in the forward line. Melbourne are definitely dropping extras back.
McDonald. We said early that 10 to 12 goals would be enough to win this one. It's panning out that way. 6-7 now as we approach time on of the third term with weight on for Kudafudis. Pickett going to half forward for Robertson.
And I think this is exactly what Robbo needs to do. Just get out and get some footy and see a bit more of the ball and get a different view on the world.
Just his 6th possession. He has 3 behinds. He goes to Motlop. Melbourne searching for the lead. White pleading for it short. Motlop long. Well, Brown's got to beat a couple here.
Where's Aaron Davey?
Here.
There he is.
Straight up, straight down. Play on.
Still in it.
Betts. He's nearly going to mark his own kick. Good clearance by Lappin. Thornton the spoil. Motlop will have time to retrieve. Kick partially smothered, gets it back. Will Ian McDonald might. It's really a grinding duel, this. So much effort going into it. Stevens. Which team will be first to wilt?
And that's what Dennis Pagan, I suspect, would have been talking about. Nick, I reckon he would have said, Nick, you're too good a player to be wasting disposals. Find the targets.
And as Scotland marked that ball basically just past half back, looked up and had absolutely nothing to kick to.
That's why they're hanging on to it. There's a lot of Blues that are looking tired right now with hands on hips. Waite trying to move to provide a lead. Houlihan saying, give me something. So he's got to go to a 1-on-2. Leaping Jared Waite over Ferguson.
And that's what he has to do, Jared, when he gets a leap at it. That's his strength. He's got a good leap. He's athletic. Should give the body work away. Yeah, give the body work away. And
McLaren wins a free kick. And the former Lion, with just his 2nd kick in a Carlton jumper, is going to have a chance for a very handy goal. He only kicked 6 goals in his 46 games up north. Byron Pickett giving away the free.
Well, really, there was nothing more that Byron Pickett could have done there. He had to try and go for the spoil.
Big kick. Carlton lead again by 11 points.
I'm just a bit confused about the free kick. Was it because he had made head-high contact, or because in the end McLaren didn't touch the footy?
Well, he hasn't got eyes on. Byron hasn't got eyes for the footy whatsoever and makes contact. If you haven't got eyes on the footy and make body contact, it's an automatic free kick.
So he's going to knock it at the arms only.
Yep. Even if he doesn't hit the arms there, he just cannons into the body. If his eyes aren't on the footy, it'll be a free kick.
$11 points the difference.
And Matthew Lappin still spare in the goal in the back half for the Blues.
McLaren to Houlihan to Bentic. Melbourne with numbers here. Not a whole lot of talk. Ferguson the spoil. Scotland gets rid of Bartram, but still has McDonald to play with, and that's out for a throw-in.
It's an interesting one, Jared. You said Matty Lappin's loose for Carlton, and at the other end, you've got Uze loose for Melbourne. Now, who uses the ball better out of the two, and who's getting the most possessions?
Is it Uze or Ferguson?
Wouldn't be...
it
it's
is
Ferguson at the
yeah.
moment, but at the centre bounces, it's Uze.
Because right now, I'd like Matthew Lappin.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's who creates more and who sets more up. And you look at Matty Lappin, he's had 24 disposals. If he keeps getting it down there and setting it up for the Blues.
Well, at the moment, they've got Lappin and Nick Stevens there. They're backing themselves in at the contested ball here, the Blues, that they'll win it, even though their numbers are down.
Four minutes to go, third quarter. White for Sylvia. Bentic dragged him down fairly, said the umpire. Ditto Bartram on Murphy. McLaren. It's like the Brumbies and the Waratahs there. Finally it comes out.
It's a great effort there by the Blues. They're 2 numbers down there. In fact, they're 1 number down because Melbourne had one loose up in their forward line. But Nick Stevens' man was in that contest, so against the odds, Carlton still pushed the ball forward.
Only 2 Blues contesting that ruck contest. They can't emerge with the footy, however. Davey back for Miller. Wide for Uze. Goes short, good kick.
And that's Nick Stevens' man.
Here they go. McDonald for Green for Bruce. Wobbly floating kick towards Neitz. Waiting for it, Motlop. Just fends off Stevens audaciously, but his kick forward is intercepted by Livingston, who can come out wide for Walker. Now there's some open territory on this side of the ground. Lappin crunched by Pickett. Play on the call.
Good tackle.
Oh, good tackle from Byron. A beauty. Ball held in a bounce.
Well, maybe it's time to put Uze up onto Lappin and make him accountable. Swing it round so if it gets too crowded, well, one of the forwards, one of the big blokes like Robertson or Neitz can drag their bloke out.
Fox Footy Sunday with you from the Telstra Dome. Carlton and Melbourne in their respective opening round fixtures. Carlton having lost their last 4 round 1 encounters, but surprising finalists for the last 2 years. Melbourne 11 points the lead. We're in the time on period of quarter number 3.
You look at top of the screen, that's Brad Green, and the legs there on the is the Blues' Matthew Lappin. Now that's Russian roulette. Whoever gets it may end up with a goal. This time it's Green.
To Whelan, has to stop, wait, and then kick towards McDonald with Simpson and back into the unknown. Well done, young man.
And the opposite to Carlton, Clinton, is Melbourne have usually been fast starters.
Yes. They had a terrific opening round win against Essendon last year by more than 7 goals. They've got the Bulldogs back here next Saturday afternoon. And we saw how they started on Friday night. Houlihan as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the third. Good running again from Carlton. This time the number 1 draft pick, Murphy.
Needs just one more chip.
Goes to the corridor for Favola. And it is paid.
His Eddie Betts just cannot get near the goal. He had it again.
Oh, that was a great crumb. It was a great crumb, and he could have run all the way into an open goal there.
It was probably Mark Murphy's best kick for the day. He really is a penetrating kick. The goals have flummoxed him a little bit at times today, but he's had a terrific debut. Great start.
And the pace that Eddie Betts hit that crumb.
Yeah.
Favola with 2 goals, 3 today. And every kick that he has from here likely to be very, very important. This for a 17-point advantage. And he's got it. Oh, Fab's excited.
Well, he gets clean contact generally, and that's why he's a terrific full forward. You get the ball in his hands, he rarely lets you down. Now let's have a look at Mark Murphy's kick. Once again, top of the square. It's the obvious spot to go because that's the high percentage shot if you can convert the mark. And there he is, Eddie Betts. He missed out because Favola was good enough. It was a good kick. A terrific mark. And right now, Melbourne have kicked 6 goals for the game, and they've got to kick 3 goals if they're to win, if Carlton didn't score again.
Yeah, and hold the Blues. Scott Cummings spoke earlier about delivery for Favola. Going to be so important. I reckon he might like the look of playing for a few years with a man with the number 3 on his back. That's not bad either. White marks at will. Houlihan. Gone. Gets a kick away as Byron lunged late. Betts caught. Scotland. Carlton, are they a chance here for another one? Scotland snaps. Is it 15? Yes. Saving the day, Mark Jamar.
Well, slow getting the ball out.
Oh, that's risky. Simpson and Johnston. Ball comes to ground. Carlton a chance. Simpson sits it up, waiting and marking. Favola again.
Well, Mark Jamar was just too slow getting the ball out. He wanted something that was a certainty rather than just going, because there were 2 or 3 options immediately.
He had Sylvia, and Sylvia wasn't too happy when the ball didn't come out, and then decided to go to the same area.
Turned it over.
Gee, this is a huge kick. Right half forward will kick from around the 50. Has kicked 3 goals, 3. Has taken his full 30 seconds now. Umpire, though, does not say play on. Kick on its way. They're going to be hard to toss now. Fev's got 4. The lead is just on 4 goals. And the 3/4 time siren is just a heartbeat away.
It is, and it's been Fev, really. He started the 3rd quarter off the ground. He's come on, he had a little bit of a rest. Jared Waite come off for him. He's come back on and fired the Blues up with the last 2 goals.
And they got Cooter, the skipper, the 250 gamer. He's in the race at the moment, just at the end of the race. Dennis Pagan going to be thrilled with that. Cooter looks like he's on a bike, just getting the legs rolling over. But if Fev keeps kicking goals like that, Cooter may just sit there and enjoy from the stands.
Serious look of concern in the Melbourne coaching box. Still time either way. Carazzo with a high one for Stevens, who marks. You see the time, down to 15 seconds. Can he get it onto Scotland? He will. Scotland marks, down to 10 seconds. Time for a kick and a mark. Can they get another one late? 5 seconds. He stops at his approach. 3 seconds. Can they mark this ball? No, they cannot. 3/4 time, and are we on the verge of a pretty big upset? 23 points is Carlton's lead.
Well, a couple of the heads are down for the Demons. They're going to have to really find some leadership and some enthusiasm, because there's a big job at hand here, Wayne, and you won't get there if blokes are looking at their boots.
No, he certainly won't. Aaron Davey looked like he was going to fire Melbourne up in that quarter, but it was all Carlton towards the end. Brendan Favola, well, he had a poor season last year. He's off to a flyer this year.
He's kicked 4 goals, and with 1/4 left, after another tumultuous summer, the Blues are within sight of victory. Stay with us. Final term next on Fox Footy Sunday. The Blues fans have been remarkably patient over the last few years, as we know. Is it about to be rewarded in the opening round of this 2006 campaign? We can only wait with great anticipation. The margin 23 points for Favola and Waite with 7 goals between them. Aaron Davey, the only multiple goal kicker for Melbourne. A lot of possessions leading the way is Heath Scotland with 27 touches. Final words from Dennis Pagan, listening into he and Neil Danaher. Our man, boundary side, Scott Cummings.
Boys, it's amazing how fresh you look when you're 23 points up at 3/4 time. The Carlton boys don't look like they'd played a game yet. They'd all run into the 3/4 time huddle and were very, very vocal. Neil Danaher came straight down to the Melbourne huddle and addressed the players as a whole first before letting them go off into the divisions, and then went and looked at some matchups, just trying to sneak a couple of goals. He's not sure where they're going to come from.
Who's your tip, Scott?
I'm going for the Blues. I didn't before the game. I'm glad you didn't ask me either.
Yeah, no, that's right. You're the best of the bandwagon jumpers, as we know. Giving us a tip usually after they've jumped. 10-9 to 6-10. Well, Neil Danaher's obviously animated.
Well, the beauty about having a lead that Carlton have got is that they now know that they can play every player in the back half. If they wanted to just say, righto, let's just shut this game down.
You mean it's going to get uglier?
Well, I mean, Carlton played like this against the Western Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago and had their, I think, only victory of the pre-season campaign. I think that's given them a lot of heart and a lot of purpose in the way they're going into this season. They're playing very similar football. They know if they get the ball, if they can break the line with a crowd at defence. They've got Favola and Waite who are playing pretty good footy up forward.
Yeah, look, they've got a good lead going into the last quarter. You wouldn't want to change too much about what the Blues are doing. I think if you start going too defensive, all of a sudden you lose a little bit of momentum. Melbourne could get back into the game. What I'd be saying to the players at three-quarter time, if I was Dennis Pagan, which I'm not, but I'd be saying continue the way you're going.
It's worked for them so far.
If you were Neil Danaher, though, would you...
You've got to take risks. You've got to play on. You've got to get the ball into the forward line.
Would you match up Matthew Lappin? Would you go head-to-head instead of allowing loose players?
I don't think you can allow Matthew Lappin, who has had 24 possessions, and most of those have been obviously in the back half, and he creates so much. You just can't allow him to do that. But the message that Neil Danaher would be saying, look, boys, we've got nothing to lose. We have to take some risks. Play on every time you get the ball through the midfield and off half-back.
Well, for now, it is 6-on-6 in the Melbourne forward line. Walker next to Davey. Tension here at the Telstra Dome. More than 30,000 on hand for Fox Footy Sunday Night Football. Can Carlton convert this 23-point lead into victory? Sit back and enjoy it. A scramble to start. White. First kick, inside 50. Livingston for Lappin. He's going to get Colin. Well, luck's a fortune for the Blues. The kick clears the danger zone, although it eludes Walker. Boundary throwing. If Carlton get the first goal, you'd think it would just about be shut the gate. If Melbourne can get it, game alive. McLaren, well done. This kick from Scotland out on the full. I think even if it bounced over, it would have been a free regardless. Ward the free kick. Short. Maloney.
Still Ward loose.
And he's going to run on. Will he be the next in line? Maloney thinking about it. Nothing from Neitz there. So it's long to a contest. McLaren to try and spoil Davey, always dangerous in situations like these. Bruce, Sylvia, hurries a snap and goal, and it bounces through. Just the tonic the Demons needed.
It was, and it just come from one of those long balls that we've probably been a little critical of, because Carlton got numbers back, but it was just a ball that spilled free. Sylvia there, probably a little bit of luck involved, but doesn't matter how you get them sometimes. That puts Melbourne back in the game.
This time Melbourne had even numbers back. In the first half they were kicking it to an uneven amount of players, and they were always outnumbered.
And at the start of the quarter, that's right, Jared, at the start of this quarter for the first time there hasn't been a loose player in Carlton's defence.
Restructuring the Demon back line with Carroll coming off the ground. A small Brown replaced him, so Miller going to Favola with Ferguson on weight. The Demons will get the clearance here, bombing it long. Here's Green towards half forward. Effective spoil. Heckett's going to be on the end of it. Can he wrap a kick around his body? No. Elects to handball for McDonald. Carlton back there in numbers. Melbourne, can they get a mark in a pack? Oh, that's a free kick surely against Paul Johnson, and it is. Advantage play on. Livingston's got Murphy, although Brown's doubling back. Oh, Murphy, in just his fourth quarter of senior footy, traps it nicely. The kick, though, will bounce to Uze. Caught. Eddie Betts with possession for Waite.
Well, I think Neil Danaher will be examining that issue in the forward line with Paul Johnson at some length this week.
Favola's going to have to fly over Ferguson, who helps it through for a behind. (10-10) plays 7-10. Pickett running. Bentic closing. Byron backs himself. Chip ball effective. Sylvia long to the goal square. Great carry. Whitnell back there to help it through.
And I reckon that's the Byron Pickett that Melbourne need, running up to the back line and charging back like he did for Port Adelaide so brilliantly when he won the Norm Smith medal.
Taking players on.
Robertson hasn't had the best of afternoons to this point. This is Waite now going for Stevens at half forward. And he's within range.
And is that 50?
It was close, but Melbourne get the benefit of the doubt. As does James McDonald.
Robertson looks like he's going to come from the field. At full stretch. He got it away quickly. But now the eyes are on Nick Stevens. After a 21 possession afternoon.
There's a bit of confusion there. He was coming off, then he was going back on. Now Robbo's coming off.
And Stevens' kick is missing to the near side, so a couple of let-offs there. The margin 3 goals. Travis Johnston goes short. White. Wide, Uzo. Elects to hand pass to Ward, who enjoys a run. Whelan had it stolen by Betts.
She's good hands from Betts. He knew exactly where Brendan Favola was, but Brendan Favola didn't know it was coming.
Murphy has done terrifically well there. Have a look at that! Oh, Jared, just go back and have a shot, say the Carlton fans. And Mark Murphy getting the plaudits from his teammates, as much for persistence there as anything.
And it was Eddie Betts that created this goal just through pressure.
Yep.
But Mark Murphy, great vision.
This for 4 for Waite, and a 4-goal lead. Oh, will it come back to haunt them? 3 behinds in this final term from the Blues. Miller's got to go for the fly. Boundary throw. 4 minutes have been soaked up as Robertson feels it. Official attendance today, 31,139. On the Grand Prix Sunday, very acceptable. Free kick going the way of the Demons.
You've got Brad Green just dropping off the pack. But they were almost aware of that Carlton and they covered him pretty quickly.
Ward's done a lot of carrying of the football. This kick will land inside 50. It's opened up. Oh, the deflection wasn't deft enough. Meeks takes them on. Wide for Bruce. Motlop slips one. Dodges a second. Kicks deep. Carlton should mark. Whitnell.
He's done that well all day, Lance Whitnell, whether he's taken marks or picked up possessions. He has got back into that hole and caused havoc.
Walker with the footy. Scott Cummings, tell us about Russell Robertson.
Well, he came off limping pretty heavily and it looked like an ankle, but he's getting a lot of treatment to the back of his left knee. He was in a lot of discomfort, but he doesn't look too bad now.
Thanks, Scott.
Bit of a spark here for them, the Demons, with Motlop.
On their 50, Sylvia gets it out for Uze. Hot potato stuff. Brown in the path of Davey. What can the creative one do? Back for Uze. Good off a step. Goes long. Neat's got to beat 3. It does!
It's a big grab.
It's a captain's grab, Jared.
It's a big grab. Clinton, he's got to put this one away. Aaron Davey involved as well on a smart kick from Adam Uze. He was under some pressure. Had to kick it high to get over the man in front of him. And just excellent body work by the skipper there.
This for his second goal in the second half.
Motlop, I think, has just added a little bit of bite down there. They've had Robinson and Neitz effectively really not contributing too much at the moment until this point.
Melbourne have kicked the only 2 goals of this final quarter. and are back within 13 points.
It was Robertson come off, and it was Motlop that went on for him, and he's definitely created that spark. But it doesn't matter what happens in this game. A real positive, I think, Speen David needs the way he's gone about it. He's looked nimble, he's looked sharp. Hasn't had the best of opportunities.
On a day it's been terrible for a Melbourne forward.
It's been difficult conditions with the Carlton defenders getting back and clogging up space. I think it's a good sign.
There's Russell Robertson. I guess the beauty of low-scoring games, Clinton, is they may be hard work through the period, but the last 15 minutes, everyone's always a chance.
Grand final was like that, Jared, wasn't it?
It wasn't a bad result, though.
Murphy getting it out wide. Now the Blues can look to go. Houlihan. Inside 50, Favola the target. Miller the spoil. Bruce flings it out creatively but effectively. Kate Simpson emerges. Good kick. Murphy. Oh, he's going to pass it off. Clever stuff. And Favola should be able to strike off the Neats goal in a hurry. You have to have been impressed today for the debut game of Mark Murphy.
Well, he's not a huge guy, as we all know, but then again, neither were Dale Waitman or John Platten. But what we have absolutely seen, he has got a football brain, to use one of the best football cliches of all time. He has got the IQ of a professor.
And I think Brendan Favola is going to like him, because he definitely gives the ball off.
He's got 5 goals now, his fan. Blues fans with the jacket over the Carlton jumper, just in case things didn't work out today. You zip up the jacket, no one knows who you barrack for, but right now they're proud Blues.
Have a look at this. Kate Simpson is a good player, and there he is, the youngest professor in football.
Is that the new nickname?
Well, he's a bit young for that, but it may do.
Will he be singing the song in 13 minutes' time? Favola with 5, Waite with 3 for the Blues. Davey 3, Neats 2, the multiples for Melbourne. Kudafiti's in game number 250. Oh, Scotland caught high.
Scotland doesn't know how lucky he was. I reckon Byron had him in his sights, and he went left when Byron thought he was going right.
Walker. Favola the target again, slips as he was backpedaling, and we'll get a throw in. Plenty of support for Favola and the Blues. Next week they're at Subiaco to take on the Dockers, coming off a disappointing opening round loss to Hawthorn. Melbourne are here playing the Bulldogs. Good work in close. Is that in the back? Yes, Carlton free kick. And this could be for a 4-goal plus lead. And they would have one giant hand-on victory as Spawn gets ridden by Sylvia. Trent Spawn kicked just 1 goal last year, has only kicked 6 in his AFL career, which is embarking on its 5th year. This an important one.
Right behind it, we've got a good look at his technique.
You reckon it could just about seal it. Punches it through. Smiles of victory now.
Well, it's a famous footy number at Carlton. Used to kick a few more goals than Trent has, but they don't come much more important than that one. Mark McCoy will be pretty happy with that. I think he was 36, wasn't he?
He was. Centre-half forward.
In a very famous era for the Navy Blues.
The margin is 25 points. Now will they flood the back line? Maloney, quick hands. Sylvia fumbles. Stevens bumped off it. Play on the call. Davey, nice pickup. Slung. Motlop drills it out. Murphy in the way. And this Carlton din growing beneath the closed dome roof. Walker marks. Pops it up to half forward. Melbourne have got to get some run. Generate it here. Miller for Sylvia. Now, target. Well, Davey wasn't the target. Motlop was. Motlop ends up with it, uses Davey. Carlton get a loose man back, though, so he has to flare it out wide for Brown. Where's he going to go? Well, that's pretty good. Sylvia's a fraction too far out. Gee, Toldy's off. That was red hot. Green ends up with it. Bruce back in front of Brad Green. Oh, good clearance there by the Blues, but Stevens now, can he get there? He does. Good pick-up. Carlton fans loving it. Scotland gets around J-Mar.
Harder to get the numbers back at this time of the day.
Goal square's unguarded. Favola pops it up. Wait. Had to wait. Can he get boot to it? Oh, it's exciting. Another look at the mark that wasn't.
No comment.
Jack Little in the
Yeah,
box.
I was just thinking. Maloney up to the 50. He's going to need something for Melbourne here. Well, this is a good start. Robertson's got his first. 20 the difference, less than 10 to go.
I mean, it's not impossible, as you were indicating, Clinton. Aaron Davey coming from the ground. No, he's being told to go back onto the ground. He shakes his head saying, come on, boys, get your act together.
Not for the first time that's happened today.
They need Aaron Davey to stay out there. They've got to win the game.
You know, as you were saying those words, it's not impossible. I saw Aaron Davey coming off.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, well, it is now. But he's still on the ground. He's one guy that can kick 2 or 3 quick goals.
I'd like a centre clearance. Bruce will provide it.
Here comes Neitz.
Neitz is going to fly. Well read by Stevens. Didn't go up in that pack. Just tracked the football wide. Kicks to Koutafidis. Oh, he bobbles a mark. He'd take more often than not. Houlihan. Good kick. McGrath over the top. Away goes Carazzo.
Oh, he's got Favola on his own.
And gives it to him. Getting in the way, Miller. Whelan, will he concede it behind? He does.
Yeah, well played too. He covered that magnificently, and this is where you see the fast break work. Can they get it to Aaron Davies? Because he's about the only one who's quick enough to break through.
Green, Miller, Green. Bang. Davey, the target, got to beat 3. Just knocks it down in the path of Brown. Kicks inside 50. Awkward bouncing ball. Whitnell trapped. Davey dangerous. Gets away. Beautiful. Now Pickett is going to lay it off. Short is Robertson. Oh, he's had a very quiet afternoon, but now he can kick 2 goals in 3 minutes and make it game on. He catches his breath. He's kicked 1 goal 3. If he kicks straight, they're still in it. Yes.
Good kick.
A pressure kick. Robertson with back-to-back goals. They now need 3 in the final 8 minutes to pinch it. And would that be heartbreak for the Blues?
Let's have a look at Aaron Davey again. Just the speed and the dexterity. And also he's just got a great footy brain as well. He just makes good decisions, and there's Robbo throwing an arm out, and it's stuck.
No question about that. Probably the first time today that we've seen the fast break from the kick out.
Yep.
Went from one end of the ground to the other. Exactly what Melbourne needed.
They'd kicked 6 goals in the first 3 quarters. They've kicked 4 here in 17 minutes of the last. Ball to be won there in the middle again. Murphy, good pickup. Bounce will be important. It favours Waite. Good sidestep. Favola leading to the pocket. Ferguson now about to be under the hammer.
Got the numbers here, the Blues.
Cooter on the boundary line. Carazzo. Carazzo!
And another opportunity that I think Eddie Betts created just by the pressure that he put on around the ball. See here, he's able to have a second effort.
Well, he was the one that ran to the pack to make the extra number.
Yep, had the second effort.
That should deflate the Demons now.
Good finish by Carlton. He's very happy with it. Why wouldn't he be? Opening game, you've been belted all summer. On the back of a horrible year last year.
Just the 5th goal of his AFL career, but a beauty. And restores a 3.5 goal buffer.
And they have roved to Jeff White particularly well in that middle here, Carlton, all afternoon.
Maloney sends it deep. Whitnell, big body there. Oh, good spoil from behind by Lappin. He's patrolled proceedings pretty well down there and had 26 touches and 10 marks.
Underrated player for mine, Matthew Lappin. He was effectively on the market last year, and for various reasons he ended up at Carlton, and I think they'll be thrilled with that. But I guess his age prevented him from other clubs going after him, but he is a gun player.
Bruce, Motlop. Look away handball that he wishes he looked for. Johnston near the line, boundary throwing. Less than 7 minutes to go.
Well, Dennis Pagan's coached a lot of teams and a lot of teams with a lot more talent than this Carlton side, but I don't think he would have ever coached a side that's worked as hard for 4 quarters than this one today. Would have had plenty work as hard, but you can only go 100%.
We've been waiting for them to drop off, but it hasn't happened yet. Melbourne, Davies done it again, has he? No. Simpson happy to concede behind. Well played. No need to be too risky there.
Game's almost ice at 20 points up.
Oh, and there's another one right back at you. What on earth was that? McGrath. Cool heads required out there.
Murphy free on the wing.
Can Stevens get it to him? He'll try. Oh, hits him beautifully. 20 points to the margin.
The other thing about this young player, Jared, that I've been really impressed with, he's very clean with his hands. He's not a two-grab player.
No, he's got good skills, without doubt. You've got to have something special if you're that size and you go as #1 draft pick. I think that's the bottom line, and we know what it is. He is just a really smart young man.
We are in time on of the final quarter. Is there some more run left for Melbourne? Brown crosses midfield, is brought down. Kicks it wide for Johnston and Davey. Robertson in the pocket wants it. Johnston hand in, corralled in on the boundary line. Carazzo rides the bump. They're playing like winners now.
Listen to those Blues fans, they are loving this.
It's 4 years of pent-up frustration.
That's a Shepherd.
And played.
Coming back, Eddie. You're not getting one. You're not getting a cheapie, Eddie. You haven't had one all day.
He's had 4 goes. Give him a goal.
And that's a good decision by the umpire.
Wheeling the man, pushing Cooter out of the way.
Very good decision.
Cooter's going to celebrate, it would appear. Game number 250.
I spoke to Russell Robertson on Thursday night on 3AW here in Melbourne, and he effectively said that this was a danger game for them because Carlton coming in with no injuries effectively, on the back of a big build-up through the pre-season, on the back of a spoon, and they will look back on this as one that they just have gone into and haven't just got it right tactically or even work rate-wise. Look at that.
Look at that.
Inspiration.
Put that on the 1%ers. For Vola to chase down on Pickett.
And I think he'll come off after that.
Have a look to your right there. Robert Walls, he's actually standing and applauding.
That is great stuff.
And they'll be happy to watch this clock run down.
And the runner goes straight out to Fev and say, come and have a rest.
Your day is done. 5 goals, 3.
Well, on the back of this, hopefully Brendan Favola will realise he's got to work harder.
Yeah.
On the track, I mean, he has cramped up a couple of times now. He's done more defensive work today than we've seen habitually for a long time. And it's paying dividends. because that's twice he's affected a couple of turnovers. A brilliant shepherd down here in front of us in the second quarter.
Let's hear the ovation for Vola. The chase on Pickett. Here's it from the fans.
That has got to make you feel pretty proud.
It does.
Gee, that's a dangerous switch by White.
It also lets you know that the fans don't just want goals from you, they want effort.
They recognise the hard work, yeah.
They want effort.
He's going to mop up here again in midfield if Walker can get it. He's tripped up, lost it. Lappin pushed off it. Walker soccering it. Pickett mid-air hack missed. Brown goes wide. Now Sylvia's got some space here. Thumps it long, hoping Robertson can take a specky. He didn't even get close to the contest. He looks at the umpire wanting a shepherd call. It's not there.
Brent Maloney coming from the ground. No one ready to go on. Bartram puts his hand up.
And Luke Livingston's done a good job. I think Neats has showed some good signs, but Livingston, if he can stand up and play on those bigger forwards, allows other players to play in different positions like Thornton. He doesn't have to play on guys that are 5-10 kilos heavier than him.
Carlton have not won an opening round game since the 2001 season. 2-4, White! Big leap from the big man and then turns it over. He just got excited at this leap. A late highlight for Demon supporters. But McGrath and the Blues will be happy to work it down.
It's an amazing round, isn't it? Round one. It throws up some different results, interesting results. Melbourne, of course, they may well benefit from this one.
Who are you tipping next week? Bulldogs and Melbourne here.
Well, you have to tip the Bulldogs, surely.
Bulldogs on form, but Melbourne's been one side. Melbourne's been the Bulldogs' baby side.
They have. They've been their nemesis, cost them a final spot last year. Melbourne won it, of course.
Lappin wide for DeLuca, who cannot hang on to it. Simpson has been good today as well. He's had 23 possessions. DeLuca with a very high ball. Melbourne have the numbers. Ferguson the mark. Inside of 90 seconds. Uze now. How's your footy tipping going this weekend? Robertson. Caught by Livingston, who works hard. Murphy. Scotland. Bounces away from the Demons. Can they get one more? Finish with style. McDonald. Johnston now. Whelan. Plenty of Demons here at midfield. Brown for Motlop. Thumps it long in the Neats direction. Oh, Whitnell stands tall. He's been terrific.
I guess Neil Danaher will looking for a positive, and by way of explaining how it can be good a loss, I think you just say, well, work rate, fellas. If you don't work hard enough, you can get beaten by a side that finished last year on the bottom of the ladder.
Deflating for Melbourne, that's for sure. But what a way to start a season for Carlton.
Nick Stevens on the fast break.
McDonald to beat.
It's been a good battle again, this one.
McDonald wins.
Often match up on each other.
That little battle, but the war is just about up. Sylvia sending it inside 50. Davey will be on the end of it. Now, would not want to play on. They can play for percentage. How sweet will this sound be? Kuda will celebrate game number 250 in style. Last year's Wooden Spooners upset the finalists of the last 2 years by 21 points. They can't wait for the song. Here it comes. Danaher's men would be disappointed with what happened from there. Carlton by 10 points at half-time, 23 at the last change. And after singing the song just 4 times for all of last year, they get to sing it now off the back of a 21-point victory. Favola with 5 goals, Waite kicked 3. And somewhere in amongst the throng, well, Scotty Cummings is almost going to be celebrating with them down there, but it was Cooter's day today, Scotty.
Cooter, mate, what a fantastic way to spend your 250 of the boys. Geez, they give you something today, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did tonight. I mean, that's the only way to celebrate your 250 through the win. And look, it's been a long time coming, and we finally won a game in round 1. We haven't won one for about 4 or 5 years, so I'm over the moon about it, Scotty.
What about all these young blokes, mate? Are they going to excite you a little bit too? Murphy, Bentek, Kate Simpson were fantastic today, and you must have a lot of fun and pleasure in moulding these boys.
Yeah, look, I started seeing a lot of the boys coming through last year, halfway through the season, but this year, pre-season-wise, practice matches, they've really stood up, and today they've done it again. So the boys are training really hard, and if they keep going the way they are, they've got a long future at the club.
Mate, a lot of people will hate to say it, but that you've read the papers, they've written you off. Spur you on a bit?
Yeah, look, it does. I mean, you've got to accept that after the years that we've had, and we've just got to knuckle down every week and do our best and keep improving. And we keep playing all the way we did today. Who knows how far we can go?
Mate, 250 games. Well done, a brilliant career. Hope there's plenty more to see, mate. Well done to you.
Anthony Koutafidis, thanks, Scott. 21 points, Carlton, and they're enjoying this.
Well, so they should, and every Carlton supporter will be absolutely thrilled. And I think we all would love to join in applauding Anthony Koutafidis in his moment of triumph. 250 games, I reckon 100 of them played at a level, Wayne, that very few players in the history of the game have ever reached. But almost a perfect day for Carlton, a big victory, and they've unearthed a really good young kid in Mark Murphy. And they've also unearthed a guy that can help them in the ruck in Dylan McLaren.
Yeah, look, Mark Murphy's first game today, I was very impressed by him. Clean with his hands. Like you said, Jared, a number of times. His football brain really impressed me. Could have had a couple of shots inside 50. Could have easily had a shot at goal. Set other players up in better positions. And what a way to send this great player 250 games. And I'll never forget back in 1995 when he got to hold a Premiership Cup aloft, and he'd only just started. I've never been more jealous of someone in all my life in 95 of Cooter when he won that Premiership, and he's gone on to be one of the great players of the competition.
King Cooter, indeed. The script was written, and they acted it out to the letter. Carlton celebrate a season-opening upset of the Demons. We'll be back after this.